اللي ما دخل بيدخل الحين. خلينا نبدأ يلا. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. طيب عشان خاطرة الجميع أنا حشرحها بالإنجليزي عشان ما أدري لو الكل بيعرفها بالعربي، فأنا بشرح كل شيء بالإنجليزي. فالسلام عليكم، معكم نواف صلاح، طالب طب سنة سادسة من جامعة المعرفة. والنهاردة or today we're going to be hosting a webinar session about Anki. What is Anki and how you can use it in your studying in university and also outside of university. لا تخاف يوسف. How to use it in the university and also outside of university, especially international exams. Now, before I continue on as your speaker, I want to set a couple of rules. Rule number 1, regarding any questions, you can write questions in the chat, and my friend and colleague Hassan Muhammad, he will answer your questions during the chat so that we don't interrupt each time. If you have any additional questions by the end of the session, you're free to ask, and at that point I can read it and I can also answer via the microphone as well as Hassan. But throughout the session you can just write it in the chat and Hassan will type it for you during the chat. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2 and the final, regarding the session itself, regarding the Anki session, first we will go quickly through a PowerPoint. This PowerPoint will not take too much time, but before you get lost, I want you to get a bit of an idea what Anki is in general. And once we finish the PowerPoint in around 10 to 12 minutes max, we will spend the remainder of the session in using the program itself. I will show you the program, which is in front of you right here, how to create a flashcard, especially you people in the university. You want to make flashcards, especially for those in preclinical or those, let's say, in clinical. For example, like these are all from the blocks in our curriculum, Indo, Essex, CVS, CNS. So for the people who wants to make flashcards, and for the people who are studying for international exams, specifically USMLE Step 1 or Step 2. I will also show you, for that type of group, how to use the flashcards from a very particular deck. If you don't know what a deck is, I'll explain it to you in a bit. But I'll show you how to use USMLE flashcards from a guy who already did it from before, and how you can use it in your studying. Alright? So regardless, anyone who'll be using Anki, they will benefit regardless. So it's a win-win for everybody involved. Alright? So let us start first by the PowerPoint, get an idea about Anki, and then we will come to the program. Alright? Alright. Yalla bismillah. So let's start with the Anki session where we got our mad scientist who discovered the Anki in our university. So to start with, I know that all of you on Notability, you like to highlight. You like to put it on different colors, mashallah. And you also like to reread the PowerPoint slides as part of your studying. Now, I'm not going to say that doesn't have any benefit. Oh yeah, it has benefit for your exam. The question is, what happens after the exam? Do you remember what you can recall? No. In fact, when someone asks you a simple question, you're like, huh? What's that? So highlighting and rereading is a no-no. It's an X. These are part of passive learning. You are learning, but you're doing it passively. You're not putting much effort. So today, we're going to undo all of this nonsense you've been doing in Notability throughout your studying in Jamiat al-Ma'rifa. So we have Anki right here. Now Anki, from the word Japanese for enemy, guys, comes from memorization. And Anki is a computer program, or it's a program created by a company, which relies on 2 principles. It relies on something known as active recall as well as spaced repetition. Alright? Now, what Anki is supposed to do, it's supposed to help you in memorization. So I want you to understand these 2 concepts before we go further. Alright, so this is about Anki, the computer program. Now the first concept is active recall. Now remember what we said about highlighting and rereading? This is passive. This has no benefit in the long term. Anki, it uses active learning, active recall, in which I can convert the information in the PowerPoint slides into questions. So any information that I read, I convert it into questions. And these questions and its answers can be put into a flashcard. And this will help me simulate real world scenarios, especially since most of you use Tishmi'at or some of you use UWorld for USMLE. This will help you recall this information a lot more efficiently. So this is what active recall is. Convert what you read into questions. You have to actively test yourself. This is the first concept. The second concept is spaced repetition. What is spaced repetition? ببساطة شديدة. We have a graph here. We have the time and we have the memory retention. Let's say I started studying a lecture about asthma. I started in, let's say today is Wednesday, all right? Day 1. And let's say I revised this lecture and I revised it and mashallah, I know everything about asthma. But tomorrow, in Yom al-Khamis, I start to forget, I don't have as much recall as before. And then Yom al-Jum'ah, I start to forget. Yom al-Sabt, Sunday, Monday, I start to forget. This is known as the forgetting curve. So with every day, if I don't do revision of the material I learned for Yom al-Arbi'a, Wednesday, I will forget everything. So what do most of you do, or what do most students do? They tend to reread the PowerPoint slide. Oh, Yom al-Khamis, I will just reread the PowerPoint slide. And mashallah, there is depolarization. ارتفع فوق. My memory retention. And then, when it comes to Yom al-Jum'ah, I forget. Yalla, reread the PowerPoint slide. And again, and again, and again. This is one way, but the best way is through Anki. Anki uses spaced repetition. Anki can help you prevent forgetting the information from Wednesday. So if you, let's say, for example, you made a flashcard about asthma on Wednesday. You answered it correctly, mashallah. So you will see this flashcard on Thursday. You answered it correctly. So now this information goes depolarization, not repolarization. Let's say now, since you answered it on Thursday, it will come next week on Monday. So on Monday, you might start to forget. Anki comes in, tells you answer this flashcard, and voila, it causes depolarization, active review. Anki, it helps you recall this information, not every day, according to the day, where it will prevent you from forgetting this information at all. And this is what is meant by spaced repetition. Any flashcard you find it easy to answer, you will see it less frequently. Any flashcard you find it more difficult to answer, you'll see it more frequently until you find it easy. So this is what's meant by spaced repetition. It's supposed to help you not forget. Now, since I told you about the two concepts that Anki relies on, one could ask me, why should I still use Anki? Is this a new program? No. This screenshot comes from the USMLE First Aid book. You have many resources. One of them is Anki, where they give it the grade A. It's graded as letter A. That means it's reliable. It is excellent for revision. It is excellent for memorization. And it's free on almost all platforms. USMLE agrees. Therefore, so I told you about Anki and its concept and what it relies upon. So how can we use it in medicine? Well, I would like to introduce you to the king, Anki. His name is Dr. Nicholas. Nicholas, this is a guy who was a resident or a student in medical school who used the Anki program, and he created the USMLE Step 1 deck. And he has a YouTube channel where he can teach you how to use Anki, how to study the flashcards, and so on and so forth. So it's because of this guy, which we will come to his website, to his YouTube channel. It is because of this guy that we're able to use Anki efficiently in medical school. And we can create whatever flashcard that we want. So here is from the Anki guy himself. This is the guy. So since I told you what is Anki and what is its concepts and how we can use it in medicine, what is the purpose of Anki? How can we use it exactly? Well, we should know firsthand, Anki, ya jama'ah, is not used for studying. I am not telling you to replace your entire studying by Anki. I'm telling you to use Anki to supplement your studying. So when you have a lecture about asthma, or let's say you have a lecture about therapeutics, antibiotics, you should understand the lecture itself. Understand it in your own words. Learn and understand first. You can use pathology resources. You can use videos, Wikipedia, whatever. Understand the concept first. And after you understand, now you come to memorization and retaining this information. And what is the best program? Anki. You must use Anki, where you will use, or at the very least, create flashcards. And one could ask me, Tab Nawaf, these flashcards, do I do them 2 days before the exam? No, ya Zol. You're supposed to do them every day. Your memorization retaining should be every day. And we will come to it shortly in better detail. Don't worry about it. So in general, Anki first you need to learn and understand the concept from different resources. Then you can use Anki for memorizing and retaining, using flashcards every day. And after you use Anki, use Tajmi'at. I know all of you use Tajmi'at or UWorld for step 1, let's say, where you can practice questions or you can practice teaching others. You can now apply the information that you have retained thanks to Anki and thanks to your understanding. So these points that I mentioned to you guys, that's what I mentioned from before. Point 1, point 2, and point 3. And please, one more point to mention, especially by the end of the session. When we come to flashcards itself, please remember, flashcards, you can make them whatever you want to be. You can make flashcards as big as a textbook or as little as a note. You can make whatever flashcards that you want, and we'll come to it in the program. So I hope that I convinced you to use Anki, and now that you understand about Anki. So now the question is, where can I download Anki? I will show you the website, but I want you to know that Anki is available everywhere. It's available on Windows, Mac, Android, and iOS. And all of them are free with the exception of iOS, where it is $25. No, I don't want anyone to say that, oh, it's too expensive. It's not expensive. It's like filling up gas for your car. It is a necessity, especially Anki on your iPad, which, by the way, my colleague Hassan will show you on his iPad Anki. It is a very excellent program. You must pay the dollar for it. Otherwise, all the platforms are free. All right? Now, since you know where to install Anki, and I will show it to you very quickly, what about resources, Nawaf? I know this session will not be enough for you to be experts on Anki. So what are 2 resources that you should go to at all times whenever you have question about Anki? Number 1 is a YouTube channel about the Anking. Anking has a YouTube channel. I want everybody to visit for any question. Don't go to a video from a guy who makes a 1-hour video, all right? You don't have to type in Arabic for that. You can go to the Anking himself. He has an excellent YouTube channel. The second resource is Reddit. Reddit is a social media. I'll not go into detail, but this Reddit is a community of people who are using Anki. And they have questions where you have the answer too, you know? So anyone has a question, they can go to this Reddit and it's already answered. And I'll show you these 2 resources, how you can benefit from them. Don't worry about it. But for the resources, these are the 2. YouTube from Anking and Reddit, Middle School Anki. All right. Now this is the final PowerPoint slide. Before I show you the program, there are some terms I need you to recall, all right? There are some terms I need you to memorize before I show you the program so you don't get lost, all right? So here we have a metaphor, all right? We have 4 bags, mashallah. Bag number 1, bag number 2, bag number 3, and bag number 4, all right? Now bag number 4, or the bag number 1, the biggest one, we will call it a deck. All right, in Anki, we have something known as a deck. It's a group of flashcards, all right? So this big bag is known as a deck. Inside this bag is another bag. This is known as a subdeck. Like when you go to Notability and you have a chapters and lectures, the same thing. So you have a deck. Inside of this deck is a subdeck. And inside of this subdeck is another bag. This is known as your flashcards. So when I go inside this subdeck, I will find the flashcards. So this is known as the flashcard. And the final bag is known as tags. So in every flashcard, you will have a tag. Every flashcard will have their own name or their own tag. So to summarize, you have the deck, you have the subdeck. Inside of this subdeck is the flashcard. Each flashcard contains a tag. All right? This is what it looks like. I want you to understand this concept. Not everybody follows this concept, but I want you to understand it so that you know what is going on in our program. Simple? Simple. Now, let's now look at the Anki program, all right? I just want you, by the end of this session, not to memorize every step. I want you to be convinced to use Anki. I want you to love it, marry it, whatever, all right? Now let us first look where you can download the program. ممتاز يا جماعة? All right. Let's start with downloading the program. So you'll type on Google, type Anki, all right? And you'll click on the first link. This is the website from the company that made it, all right? Now, when I click download, it will show me the link. It will show me the link for Windows, Don't concern yourself with the version, it doesn't matter. Just download either one for Windows. If you want Mac, there's Mac. If you want Linux, you can use Linux. And if you want Android or iPhone, it will give you directly the link to iPhone and Android, all right? So just type Anki, you will get the download link, all right? That's number one for the Anki program. First, install the program itself. Once you install Anki, ya Jama'ah, this is what it looks like, all right? This is what it looks like in Windows, all right? Now, before you get lost, don't worry, I will hold your hand and explain to you most of the settings. So this is what Anki will look to you firsthand. It is blank, it is as plain as the Sahara Desert, all right? The first thing I want you to do when you open this program is make an Anki account. How to make an Anki account? You will click on Synchronize. When you click on Synchronize, it will tell you an account is required. I need my ID and my password. So what do? I click on Sign Up. When I click on Sign Up, it will show me the website itself, ankiweb.com, where I will sign up. Sign up whatever passwords that you want, Gmail, Yahoo, it doesn't matter, all right? So make an Anki account first. It will tell you to verify whatever, you got this covered, all right? So first make an Anki account, and once you make this Anki account, insert your email. So I will put my email here, and I will put my password here, for example, all right? Once I sign in, of course, it's incorrect. I will correct it later. But once you put your account, email, and your password, what that means is that, let's say you want to make Anki flashcards on your iPad and also on your PC. This program, like I told you, it's available everywhere. You can install the same program on your iPad and on your Windows. So let's say later, by the end of this session, you will see. Let's say I made flashcards on my PC, on my computer, but I also want to check my flashcards on my iPad. The same thing, but on my iPad. I must make an account in that case. So please, the first thing you must do is make an account. Make an account, put your email, all right? And everything is covered, all right? That's the first thing you got to do, all right? I'll check it later. All right, once you start making your account, now comes the question. Tab Nawaf, for the people that want to make flashcards in their university. Now, let's say I want to make a flashcard, all right? Let's say I have foundation anatomy. For example, Anat 214. I want to make flashcards for this block. So what do? Well, remember what I told you about deck, subdeck, and whatnot? This default is the deck. This is the big deck, all right? I want to change his name, so we'll go to setting, rename. I will mention this is Anat 214, all right? This is Anat 214, this is my deck. Next, I will make a subdeck. So I will choose create deck, all right? Here I will mention, okay, I want to make flashcards for mid 1. So I will type mid 1, all right? Sorry, let's make another one. So I'll make another subdeck for mid 1, for example. Astaghfirullah, it's not working. Let me delete it. Sorry. So let me make another flashcard. Let's say this is default. Inshallah bas tuzbut. Astaghfirullah. All right, let me show you another profile. Astaghfirullah bil Anki. Let's say I want to make a deck. For example, let's say GIT. All right? Let's say GIT block or anatomy block. It's the same concept, ya Jama'ah. Now let's say in GIT, for example, or let's say something more simpler. Let's say SX. Let's say I have a block known as SX. All right? This is my deck. When I click on plus, it will show me the subdeck, mid 1 and mid 2. I want to make a deck about mid 1, right? So it's the same as usual. Mid 3, there we go. I made a deck about mid 3. Put the name. I drag it, put it underneath the subdeck, all right? It will give me mid 3, all right? Now I made a subdeck about mid 3. Next, what's next inside a subdeck? Flashcards. So now I want to make flashcards for mid 3, for example. So I click on mid 3, and then I will click on add. Now when I click on add, it will show me the browse setting for a flashcard. This is where I will make my flashcards, all right? Now, before I choose anything, I need to decide, Nawaf, do I want to make a basic flashcard? Do I want to make a fill-in-the-blank flashcard? Or do I want to make a flashcard that includes questions, different questions in one flashcard? Like, I want to make questions for this and this and this. Let me give you something very simple, all right? So first, I need to choose the type of flashcard that I want to do, all right? So I have many settings. Let me choose basic. I will choose basic, all right? Now, when I choose basic, it will show me front and back. Front is what I put the question. So I will say, what is Nawaf's nationality? All right? I will say Syrian. All right? So this is the question. This is the answer. This is the basic flashcard. Now, what do I do next? I need to check my deck. This is the deck setting. So here I need to check, okay, this flashcard will be for mid 3 for the course Essex. So it's mid 3 Essex. If it's not the right deck, I will choose this one or this one or this one. So here I must make sure this is the correct subdeck. All right? Now, the next thing I will do, the final thing, is the tag. Remember what I said about tag? Every flashcard will have a tag. This is very important. Why? Because now this flashcard, I want to say, okay, this flashcard specifically belongs to lesson number 1. All right? So for example, in anatomy, I want to put lesson number 1 specifically because there's like 10 lessons. So in Anki, I will put here L1, lesson 1, underscore nationality. All right? So this is the specific tag for this specific flashcard. I will click on add. Boom. Now I have made one flashcard for this specific subdeck. All right? Now let's say I want to make another flashcard. The same thing. I can make another flashcard, and if you notice, the tag is the same. So I don't have to rewrite the tag. It is ثابت مثل ما يقولوا. It is ثابت. It is fixed. I can just keep it as it is. It is fixed. Just make another flashcard. What is Hassan's nationality? I will also say here the answer, Syrian. All right? Then click add. Now let's say this is basic. I will show you what basic looks like. Let's say I want to make another type of flashcard. I will go to type. I have many options. Let's say I want to fill in the blank. I will go down. I'll click on close. All right? Click close. Choose. Now it will give me different names. Instead of front and back, it will say text and back extra. So how does this work? ببساطة شديدة. Here I will write a sentence. I will say AlFaisal University is not the best university. All right? I want to do fill in the blank for these two words. So I will highlight them. And when I highlight them, I will go up. I will have many different options here. I can make this text bold. I can make it italic. I can make it underline. I can change the color. I can change the color of the background if I want. All right? Like this. All right? I can also do other options. But I want specifically fill in the blank. I want to fill this word. So I have these two options. This option and this option. I will click on this option. All right? Boom. C1 underscore or C1 colon. All right? Now, what about this field? This, by the way, this flashcard is now ready. What about this field? Is this the answer? No, this is your note. So here I will put my note that AlMareefa University is actually just as good. All right? It's just jokes. Don't worry. I'm not taking it seriously. So here I will write my note. This is not the answer. So I will show you what it looks like. So I will click add. All right? I will click on close. Now I have a total of how many flashcards? 3 in the color blue. Now let me click on study now. If I click on study now, this is what my flashcards look like. This is the fill in the blank. AlFaisal University is not the best university. And this is my note. AlMareefa is actually just as good. All right? Now let me do full screen. Now I'll click on space and we'll go to the next flashcard. What is Hassan's nationality يا جماعة؟ أكيد سوري. خوية. All right? Click on space. What is Nawaf's nationality? Syrian. All right? Now let me do Control Z. All right? Let me go back to the fill in the blank. Let me go and click on edit to your left. Here I can edit the flashcard. Now about fill in the blank. Let's say for example, you want to make multiple fill in the blanks. All right? Let's say in one sentence you want to make multiple fill in the blank. So Al-Faisal University is not the best university, but it has one of the best doctors, all right, as well as the best research teams, all right. Let's say I made a whole nother sentence and I want to make additional fill in the blank, all right. So for example, I will do fill in the blank for this one. I will go up, all right, I will go up and I will have both of these options, close deletion plus and without a plus. They're both the same thing, Tara. They are both the same thing. But if when I click on the plus, it will say C2. This is C2, this is C1. And I will show you what that means in the result. If I do fill in the blank for best research, and I click this option, it will show me C3. Now, what will that look like in the end result? Let's click close. I have edited now. Now, check this out. I have fill in the blank for this specific word, but it did not do fill in the blank for the other two words. So when I answer this one, it will say Al-Faisal is not the best university, right? I click on space, it will show me the other flashcards. It will show me the other flashcards. Now what happened to the other ones? All right? What happens to the fill in the blanks for the other ones? Why did this not disappear? Why did this one specifically not appear? Well, it's because this one has C2. C2 ببساطة شديدة معناها يا جماعة turns. يعني إيش معنى turns؟ يعني today اليوم شنو؟ يوم الأربعاء. Okay? يوم الأربعاء I will see this flashcard where it will do fill in the blank for this word. But tomorrow, the next time I will see this flashcard, it will do fill in the blank. It will do fill in the blank for this one. So it will look like this tomorrow. All right? It will look like this tomorrow. So what that means C1, C2, and C3, that means this flashcard specifically, you will see it 3 times. And 3 times it will do fill in the blank for a different word. C1 first, C2 second, C3 on a different day, best research team. Now let's say I want to see all of them at the same time, all right? So all I need to do is do C1, and this one, C1. If I do all the numbers the same, it will do fill in the blank for all of them at the same time, at the same day. If you see this flashcard tomorrow, the same fill in the blank, like this, all right? So when you're really experimenting with these two options, they're really the same. They're the same thing. It's just this number specifically will differ. C1, C2, C3. So it's just turns. You're taking turns. You're choosing how this flashcard will appear to you, all right? So these are fill in the blanks. And if you notice, you can do whatever you want. I'm not telling you to do flashcards like this. You can do whatever you want. If you want to include pictures, you can include pictures. For example, I want to include picture of our guy, my brother, Nawaf, all right? I will include picture of Nawaf and then say that, okay, this guy is a crazy guy. And the answer is whatever, right? So I can include pictures. I can even include audio. So if I want to include audio, me recording audio, I can do it, all right? So you can do whatever you want with the flashcards. You can do it as fill in the blank, for example. You can do it as fill in the blank. Or you can do it, and of course it will look like this, mashallah. Or you can do it as basic. Basic is basic. Flashcard with a question, with an answer, all right? Now there are other flashcard types, but it's difficult to show it, all right? I will not show it, every single one, especially image inclusion. Image inclusion is difficult. I will show you what it looks like very quickly. This is another flashcard type, by the way. Image inclusion looks like this, ya jama'ah. So if I do this, all right, I'll go to images. This is what image inclusion looks like. So for example, any of you that studies anatomy, you have a figure and you want to hide the figure, you can use image occlusion, where it will show you the question, the highlighted in red, as well as the answer, all right? So this is one way where you can create your flashcards. When I click on add, I have plus, I have basic, I have image occlusion, all right? So these are available to you and you can make whatever flashcard you want. Just make sure you put the tag and you choose the correct deck, all right? All right. Now, let me make one more flashcard so I can show you the importance of tags. Let's say I make a flashcard that says that people that ask me for Anki, 2 days before the exam are idiots. All right? Let's say I made this. All right? Let's make a basic. I'll make it basic. True or false? I'll say true, right? Now I will put this flashcard in lesson number 2. And please keep in mind, ya Jama'ah, please keep in mind, when you're writing the tag, you cannot do space. So if I do space, it will not work. It has to be by underscore or whatever that you do. So this underscore will take the place of the space. Like this, L2, and I will say here Anki. All right? So this is lecture number 2. I click on add. So I have my 4 flashcards. I have this one, I have this one, I have this one, and I have this one. And in each one, I'm doing my flashcards. I finished them all. Anki congratulates me. All right? Now let me show you why you should do tags. Why should I put tag in every flashcard or tag for specific flashcards? This is very important. You see this option now? We finished with synchronize. You see this option now, browse? I click on browse. Don't worry, it's very simple. Now browse, ببساطة شديدة, browse allows me to edit all the flashcards for one specific deck at the same time. يعني I don't have to edit every single flashcard manually. Like this one, oh, edit, then the next one. No. You can click on browse. Browse allows you to edit all of them at the same time. So if you go towards the left, if I go towards the left and I scroll down, I will see tags. I have so many tags for every specific flashcard that I want. And let's say I search here L2 nationality. Or let's say L1, sorry, nationality. This is my tag. These are the tags I put for these flashcards. You see them? So on the left are the number of tags, the list of tags that I did. Each tag that I click will show me to my right the flashcards that belong to this specific tag. So if, for example, I want to change the deck for all of these flashcards, Control A, select all, right click, it will show me options. If I want to change the deck for these flashcards, I can change the deck, the big bag. If I want to suspend them, suspend means I will not see these flashcards by the color yellow. So if I don't want to see these flashcards, but I don't want to delete them, I just want to suspend them, I can just click Control A, right click, suspend. If I want to unsuspend them, then they will appear. This is what it looks like. Toggle, suspend. Now all of a sudden, it will only show me one flashcard from lecture number 2. But if I click unsuspend, it will show me all the flashcards. All right? So I have many options. The browse allows me to change all of the flashcards at once. I can suspend. I can change also the tag. So go to notes. I can even add a tag. For example, I can remove one, then I can add another one. All right? I can even add a flag if I want. Flag like in the Moodle. When you have a question that you flag, it's the same thing. All right? I can do many things. I can create a copy. All right? I can duplicate. For example, I can even change the deck like I mentioned. Click on deck, then choose the deck you want to transfer these flashcards to. All right? So the browse allows you to change the tags. All right? Or change the flashcards. All of them at the same time. All right? This is important, especially for all of you USMLE people. Very important. All right? So this is what it looks like. These are the tags. If you scroll up, you'll even see additional stuff. For example, the decks, the flags, all the flashcards that you flagged, all the flashcards that you suspended in general I'm talking. Tamam, everything. Tamam? So this is the purpose of the browse. And you'll have options here. I will not go into detail. They're the same thing. But this is in general. All right? That is pretty much it for the browse. All right? So please think of the browse as pretty much like this. If I want to change the flashcards, all of them for a specific deck, go to browse. All right? So now we learned how to make flashcards very simply and how I can add them to a deck. Tab Nawaf, let's say I finish these flashcards. Let's say I finished them And now, Nawaf, I want to go back to the main menu. All right? If I want to go back to the main menu, and let's say, of course, if you want to know how to undo, just do Control Z. But if you want to go back to the main menu, just click on Dex. Dex will take you to what is known as the so-called main menu. And Anki is known as Profile. Profile is the same as main menu. Yeah, like video games. Tamam? If I want to make another deck, the same thing. I can make another deck. I make another one and I drag it. I want to make a deck, sub-deck, whatever you want to do. All right? This is according to you, Tara. I show you the basic way, but you can do it in your own style. Like in Obigini, I have MCQs and I put finals in mid one, for example. For example, ENT, I put mid one and so forth. All right? So this is what it looks like. Now let us explain to you something very simple but very important. All right? Very simple. Do you see the blue color? When I go to the deck, do you see this blue color? What does they mean? They tell you the number of flashcards in one specific deck. So in Obigini, or let's say in mid 3 for Essex, I have 6 flashcards, right? The blue color specifically means the flashcards you never touched. So the flashcards you never touched before, they are new. They are known as the color blue. So blue means new, all right? So they tell you the number of flashcards that you never touched for this specific deck. I need you to understand this because if I switch to another profile or another main menu, you will see different colors, all right? So you'll see the color red and the color green. And you might get confused. You might tell yourself, oh, Nawaf, my deck, it shows different numbers. Yeah, they're different numbers, but if you add them all up, if I add this number, this number, this number together, they give you the total flashcards for this deck. So let's say from 100 flashcards, some of them will be divided into the blue color, some of them will be divided into the red color, some of them will be divided to the green color. I told you that the blue color means new flashcards, the ones you never touched. The red color, it means a flashcard that you are learning from. What do I mean by learning? I mean that you did this flashcard at least once. So if you did it once, at least once, it will go from blue to red. All right? So if you did it once, it will go to the color red, convert to red. If you did it more than once or more than twice, thrice, بحسب. But to simplify it, if you did it more than once, it will be the color green, which is a do card. A do card means a review card. It is a card that you're reviewing. Khalas, you know this card. You're now looking at it every day. All right? So the blue color, معناه شنو يا جماعة? A new flashcard. You never touched it. If you touched it once, it is a red card, a learning card. If you touched it more than once, and of course, بحسب, but I will say to simplify it, if you touched it more than once, this is a do card or a review card, which is by the color green. So don't worry about the total. In Anki, when you're doing these flashcards, it will give you different colors to tell you which one is a review card, which one is a learning card, which one is a new card. I want you to understand this concept, because if you do, everything is so much simpler. All right? All right. Now let me switch the profile. Now let us talk about Nawaf. Let us talk about answering the flashcards. Let's talk about answering the flashcards. Nawaf, mashallah alay, I've made flashcards for my specific block. All right? I will answer them. But Nawaf, when I am answering these flashcards, I click on the subdeck, study now. When I'm answering the flashcard, it will show me these options. What do these options mean? Again, hard, good, and easy. ببساطة شديدة. These options, ya jama'a, it simply means Anki is telling you when do you want to see the flashcard. So every option is assigned to it a time duration. So if I choose the option good, it means this flashcard, I will see it يوم الخميس, tomorrow. If I click again, I will see it after 25 minutes. All right? And so forth. So this is what it means. You're telling Anki, when do I want to see this flashcard? Now, I want you to take it as a principle, all right? Because after this, we will talk about the settings, how I can adjust the settings for my flashcards. And I'm not talking about the flashcard itself. I'm not talking about changing the question and answer. I'm talking about changing the settings of the answers itself, how I can change the time and so forth. So to simplify it, please take it as a principle. When I choose the option good, I am telling Anki to increase the time. So tomorrow, I will see this flashcard. If I answer this flashcard tomorrow, on Thursday, this means if I click the option good again, I will see it after 2 days. So the more I click on option good, the more the time will increase. So instead of 1 day, it will say 2 days. It will say 1 month. It will say 3 months. All right? So to show it to you very briefly, for example, in orthopedics, here I have the option 1 day, right? I can click on it. All right? In this flashcard, I answered it more than once. I've reviewed it a long time ago. And the more I click on option good, now check this out. It's not the same option as before. Before it was 1 day. This one is 3 days. So I want you to understand, whenever you click the option good, the more you click it, the more the time will increase. All right? You're telling Anki to follow space repetition. You're telling it to follow space repetition. You will see it Yawm al-Jum'ah. This means you will not forget this information. Hyperpolarization. All right? Now, when I click on the option again, it will not reset the time. When I click on again, 25 minutes will be 25 minutes. When you click on again, you are telling Anki, okay, Anki, I did not answer this question correctly. Show it to me after 25 minutes. Even if I answer this flashcard 100 times, and even if I see it after 1 year, if I just click on again just once, if I click it just once, it will show to me after 25 minutes. Not after 2 years, not after 3 years, after 25 minutes. So the option again, it is known as the reset button. You are resetting the time. You're telling Anki, let's start from step 1. But in good, let's go with each step. Step 1, step 2, step 3, and so forth. All right? I want you to understand this, because if you understand this, then mashallah, you will understand the settings for the flashcards that we will show you just now. All right? Just one last thing before I show you the settings. Let's say, Nawaf, I want to edit the flashcard. If I want to edit the flashcard, you can edit each one individually by click on edit. If I click on edit, I can edit it as I want. All right? And if I finish, I click on close. All right? And here on the option towards the right, I have more. Here on more, I can choose whatever I want to do with this flashcard. I can delete the flashcard. I can suspend it. This specific flashcard, I can flag it. So here I have option towards my right for this specific flashcard. What do I want to do with it? And if I want to edit the flashcard itself, I'll go towards the left, towards the edit. All right? And here in the option in the middle is what you answer. Do I want to see it after 25 minutes or do I want to see it after 1 day? All right? Click on space. You'll go to the next one. All right? If I answered it by mistake, I want to undo, Control Z. All right? Easy. And these are, like I said, these numbers, the blue is the new, the red is the revision, or the red, sorry, is the revision, or the red is the learning, and the green is the revision. All right? They're in order. All right? Now let's go back to Dex. Nawaf, I want to change the time. Nawaf, I want to make it so that this flashcard appears to me after 10 minutes. I can change the time and let it be fixed. I can change the fixed time. Nawaf, I also want to change the days, or I want to change the time for these options. All right? So where do I change it? In the settings. I told you numerous times what they mean. يلا تفضل.
نواف، الاعدادات هي تخليها بعد البريك 5 دقائق عشان لما تشرح اليو اس ام ال يكونوا طلاب اللي بيدرسوا اليو اس ام ال يعرفوا الاعدادات كمان.
يلا.
فحنقفل 5 دقائق بعدين نرد نرجع. بعد البريك حنحكي عن كيف نستخدم الانكي مع الاي اي والانكي على الايباد واليو اس ام ال ان شاء الله.
يلا 5 دقائق بريك ونكمل بالسيتنجز، وبعد السيتنجز بشرح لكم Hassan will explain to you in his iPad what it looks like. It's the same thing, by the way. I might have taken a bit of time, but I really want you to understand these before we go on. طبعا, or right? Of course, for everybody in the chat, we'll start with our friend Basim as well as Hassan. They will showcasing or they will presenting on their share screen parts of the Anki as mentioned in the group, starting with Basim, showcasing how you can use AI in Anki. Regarding the settings for Anki, we'll look into it later. It's very brief, but especially for anyone who has questions, especially someone who makes 900 flashcards and he only sees 20, it has to do with the settings. You're running with the default settings, so we'll look at the settings very briefly by the end of it. But for now, we've decided that instead we'll have Basim, our friend. He will show you how to use AI, ChatGPT, in making flashcards. That's one way besides manually. And then we'll have, after Basim, we'll have Hassan, where Hassan, he will show how you can use flashcards, or now that let's say now that you know what Anki is and how to make flashcards, how you can apply it in university, internship, or whatever, in his iPad specifically. Of course, not every detail for iPad, but بشكل عام, you will know on iPad, especially with Notability, split screen, how you can apply it in real life, in real time. All right? And then after these two, we will come back to the Anki settings very briefly and the other options in the Windows version of Anki. After that, we will finally end the session. We will finally end the session by showing you how to study the Anki with USMLE, and believe me, it will not take more than 2 minutes. After everything, it will not take more than 2 minutes to show you how to study for the USMLE. The thing that will take time is where you will download, because studying for USMLE via Anki, you don't have to make the flashcards. There's a ready-made flashcard from the Anking, the guy I told you about. But how to download his deck, unfortunately, it requires you a couple of steps. I will show you very briefly how to do these steps, and he has a video. You can revise it later on. After USMLE, the very last thing is add-ons. To be honest, they are the most important part of this session, the add-ons. Add-ons are extra features. You're like a developer. You're adding extra features to the program. I will show you what add-ons are and how to download them. They're very, very, very important. So before we go any of these steps, first, after this break, shortly after a minute, Basim will show you the AI. All right, how to use it in Anki.
Basim, you can start.
Okay, so Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Basim al-Hamida. I'm a senior medical student along with my colleagues, Dr. Nawaf and Dr. Hassan, and I'd like to thank them both for giving me this opportunity to teach the future doctors of tomorrow how to use ChatGPT specifically, or AI بشكل عام, on making your Anki cards. So just before I show you, I just want to say that before the use of AI, I used to spend hours and hours and hours making Anki cards manually, and so much point to the extent that I would actually not finish making Anki cards till only a day before my final or my midterm or whatever exam I had. So I didn't actually have enough time. It was just too overwhelming in terms of how long it took. So alhamdulillah, now there's AI, which is not just in Anki, but بشكل عام in all of your studies. So without further ado, let me show you how it's done. So over here, I have ChatGPT open, and basically I have a prompt that I have saved in my Word document here in the bottom right, and I'll show you my prompt in just a little bit. But it's just a brief introduction, introducing me and what my studies are and what I expect from ChatGPT. This is very important because ChatGPT is a robot and it can't read your mind, not yet. So it's very important that you're very specific in your commands, because as you can see, I have like 20 very specific points, and this came from months and months of playing with ChatGPT in order for me to get the best possible Anki cards. Okay, so I'll send, by the way, this whole prompt later in the chat, so you guys can use it later. And I have a bunch of other prompts, so if you guys are interested, I can send those to you as well. Anyways, so here in the bottom, I have my prompt or my command to ChatGPT, and attached. By the way, in order for you to attach images, you need to have ChatGPT 4.0. This costs $20 a month, and honestly, I know that sounds like it's quite a bit of money, but it's genuinely worth every single penny. Like, this is the best $20 I've ever spent in my life, and honestly, it's for how powerful it is. It's too cheap. It's like amazing. And the Anki for the iPad costs $25, so it's actually cheaper than that. But anyways, that's not my point here. So basically, as you can see, I have a bunch of my screenshots from my actual lectures here open, and I'm gonna make Anki cards for you in real time, just so you have an idea of how it works. So I'm just gonna take a screen capture of my lecture. The last lecture that I took here in orthopedics is simple bone cyst. So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go full screen, and this is the last thing I took. So I'm gonna go scroll down a little bit more, just to here, and I'm gonna take a screen capture of the lecture. And with ChatGPT, you can upload a maximum of 10 screen captures at a go. So this is the 9th. I'm going to upload just one more so you guys have an idea of how it works. And obviously, there's a lot of high yield stuff. And I told that to ChatGPT before I uploaded it. So now I'm going to say, you may begin, ensuring you follow my rules closely and do not skip any slides. Okay, now send that. Just wait for the magic to happen, and you're gonna have your Anki cards made for you in front of you in real time. Just give it a moment. My Wi-Fi isn't amazing today, unfortunately, but nevertheless. Anyways, while this does this, okay, it's already done. I wanted to show you guys my other prompts that I have for ChatGPT. I have lots of different prompts. I have prompts for explaining concepts to me, making Anki cards to me, explaining Anki cards to me, explaining USMLE cards, and the best thing, all these prompts were made by ChatGPT. I told it what I wanted to do for me and make a prompt for me that I can have saved, and it did that. So that's wonderful. Anyways, this is the first Anki card. So what are the key characteristics of osteochondroma? I'm just going to take the back, take the front, make sure I get all of it. Put it there. Remove this bullet point. Then I'm going to go back to the lecture. So osteochondroma, right? Make my life easier. This is the lecture. Common lesions in children. Common lesion, end of long bones. This might not be it. Anyways, I'm not going to look for it right now. But let's assume that it's this lecture. I think it is this one. I'm just going to do a screen capture like this. And I'm going to upload that. And then boom, there it is right there. I'm just going to add it. I'm going to add a little bit more just to make sure that I'm not lost when I study it. Take this last one too. That's also almost a different case. Upload. There's my first one done. I like to keep the back of the Anki card pinned, because a lot of times there is a high yield points across multiple slides that are relevant to the next question. In this case, it's not like that. But if it was, it is. So what are the clinical features of osteochondroma that may indicate malignancy? This is the back here. Painful lump. I'm going to remove this one because it's not relevant. Let's see the other one after. Let's see how it's looking. Yeah. Fracture may be painful. No, nice. Okay. So then we upload that. I'm going to do one last one just so you guys have an idea, but I'm literally just making Anki cards here. And I think you guys get the idea of it. If you guys have any questions, you guys can contact Dr. Nawaf and he can forward those questions to me, or you guys can get my number and I'll be happy to help you guys with anything that you guys might need. And yeah, that's basically how to use ChatGPT for Anki. Do you guys have any questions? You can open your mic and let me know. If not, thank you for your time. I hope you learned something new today. Oh yeah.
Thank you very much, Basim. If there's any questions, طبعا they can be in the chat, or you can also discuss it in the group. Otherwise, we'll leave it now to Hassan to explain how to use Anki in real time in the iPad. Just to mention, it's the same, as I mentioned, it's the same in iPad, just a bit more clearer interface. And Hassan will show it to you in Notability. Basim, you can also answer any questions in the chat for them as well.
Yes, I forgot to mention that. I forgot that there is a group. Yes, please, if you guys have any questions, say it in the group, and that way we can all benefit. That's the way to do it.
سألوك how often do you have to correct it? And has it ever been wrong? عشان نجاوب على السؤالين هذول.
How often do I have to correct it? Okay, so that's actually a really good question. So as I said earlier, there's ChatGPT. Okay, let me just show you guys. So just give me 1 second. Okay, look, there's ChatGPT 3.5. ChatGPT 4, ChatGPT 4.0 or 4.0. Listen, if you're making Anki cards, never use ChatGPT 3.5. This one makes a lot of mistakes and you can't upload images. So stay away from that. Don't even bother. Don't even use it for anything that involves studying. You can use it for making emails or helping in personal statements or anything that involves grammar, but factually, never use it. ChatGPT 4 is good. These two are the same price. These are the ones that cost money. These two very rarely make a mistake. very rarely make a mistake. So, how often do they make mistakes? Honestly, like maybe once a week, and I use it for hours. Like pretty much none. You should obviously read your cards to make sure that there isn't a mistake.
ماشي، شكرا باسم. بس لو تقفل الشير سكرين.
I think I stopped it, right?
ظابط معك الشير سكرين؟ ايوه يلا. بس ترى خلي بالكم يا جماعة، هو مستخدم الايباد طبعا. the iPad is naturally slow whenever there's share screen, so it's not a problem with your device.
اوكي، هلا رح نشرح كيف رح نعمل فلاش كارد عن طريق الايباد. طبعا تقريبا هو بيشبه كتير البي سي، بس انه ابسط بشكل كبير، لانه في قلم. يعني انتم عندكم البن تبع الايباد، فحيكون مره اسهل. رح نفتح نص الشاشه على النوتابيليتي ونص الشاشه على الانكي. فرح يكون عندنا هذا ثواني، حيكون عندنا هذا المنظر او هذا الشكل. طبعا مثل ما نواف شرح لكم، حتعملوا حنضغط على الزاويه على اليسار، فحيطلع لنا اد ان اكسبورت. حنحط اد امتي ديك. هلا هون الشيء المختلف عن البي سي، لما انتم تحطوا مثلا هنكتب انات، انا لما اضغط على انات اضغط اوكي، حيطلع لي هون انات اول شيء، بس ما راح يكون في عندي سب ديك. وهون لما تيجوا مثل ما شرح لكم نواف من قبل، اذا كان عندكم ديك بدكم تحطوا فيها سب ديك، بس بتعملوا دراج لاي فايل من الموجودين تحت تحطون على الفايل اللي انتم بدكم اياه. بس هون ما بتزبط هي الطريقه على الايباد، فانتم لازم لما تعملوا اد وتحطوا انات بدكم تضغطوا مره ثانيه على اد امتي ديك. حنكتب انات وحنحط نقطتين رئيسيتين. نقطتين رئيسيتين هون انت اي شيء بتكتبه حاليا حيطلع لك از سبدك. فانا هون ضغطت على انات، حطيت مثلا ميد 1، ضف لي تحت الانات هون ميد 1 والى اخره. يعني انتم اذا بدكم تضيفوا سبدك لازم تعملوا اد انات، تكتبوا الاسم الديك الاساسي، تحطوا نقطتين رئيسيتين، بعدين تضغطوا تكتبوا مثلا ميد 2، فحيكون هون عندنا ميد 1 وميد 2. طبعا عشان نضيف اي هذا، نفس السكرين الموجود على البي سي اللي شرح لكم عليها نواف، حتضغطوا على اد، حتختاروا التايب تبع هذا، حتضغطوا على بيسك، فحيطلع لكم نفس ما كان نواف عم يورجيكم من قبل. حتحطوا الفرونت باك التاج، فيكم تعملوا اللي بدكم اياه. الطريقه اللي انه اسهل على الايباد اللي حسويه بالضبط، مثلا خلينا نفوت على محاضره تكون بسيطه. اوكي طيب، لنفرض انا بدي، اوكي مثلا انا بدي اضغط، بدي اعمل فلاش كارد عن الانفكشن انبون الاستيومالايتس. مثلا انا بدي اكتب له مثلا شو يعني استيومالايتس، او definition اوف استيومالايتس، او مثلا شو الباثوجينيسيس تبع الاستيومالايتس. انا بكل بساطه هون فيني اكتب what is the definition of osteomyelitis مثلا. نضغط علامة استفهام. الحلو في الايباد انه بكل بساطه فيني اجي اعمل الكات، نعمل كوبي، نحط بيست. هيك انا بكون عملت واحده من الفلاش كارد اللي بدي اياها. طبعا لا تنسوا مثل ما قلت نواف تختاروا اللي انتم حتختاروا فيها. طبعا انا اختار ميد 1. تختاروا الفلاش كارد او السبدك اللي انتم حتحطوا فيها الفلاش كارد، الفلاش كارد اللي انتم عملتوها. حنحط اد نيو، سوري، حنحط بعدين باك. خلص انا هيك تاكدت انه الديك تبعي هو انات ميد 1. تاكدت من السؤال، تاكدت من الاجابه. طبعا لازم تكتبوا التاجز. انا عن نفسي يعني ما بكتب تاجز، بس يعني انتم اذا بدكم تدوروا على فلاش كارد معينه لليكتشر معينه لازم تكتبوا تاجز، عشان لما تيجي تعملوا براوز تقدروا تلاقوها بكل سهوله. بعد ما نعمل سيف هحط كنسل، حتطلع لي الفلاش كارد. بس نرجع لورا، هي ميد 1 طلع لي الفلاش كارد اللي انا عملتها. تضغطوا عليها بيطلع لكم الاجابات. طبعا مثل ما تحت انتم بتشوفوا هون اجين هارد جود اند ايزي، مثل ما حيشرح نواف بعدين او شرح لكم اياه هو، انه اذا بتضغطوا اجين انتم كانكم ما جاوبتوا على الفلاش كارد. لما تضغطوا جود انتم ضغطوا عليها مره ثانيه، عشان اليوم اللي بعده لما تيجي تضغطوا على جود مره ثانيه على الاغلب رح يطلع لكم 2 دايز مثلا او يوم ونص. فانتم هيك يعني حتطلع لكم الفلاش كارد مثلا بعد 3 ايام، بعد 4 ايام. فبس عشان هيك نواف كان عم يقول لكم لا تدرسوا الفلاش كارد قبل يومين من الاختبار، ما رح تستفيدوا، لانه فكره الانكي مثل ما قلنا نواف من قبل انه هي سبيس ريبيتيشن. فانتوا لازم مثلا لنفرض انا اخذت المحاضره هي اليوم، اختباري يوم الثلاثاء الجاي، انا مفروض استخدم الفلاش كارت تبعت الانكي اللي انا عملتها عن المحاضره تبعت اليوم، اضل استخدمها لين ما يجي وقت الاختبار انا بعمل مراجعه كليه لكل الفلاش كارت، حيكون المرور عليها كتير سهل. في نقطة حاب أحكي فيها، هي إنك أنت بدك تعمل فلاش كارد، هي لطلاب الجامعة اللي عم تعمل فلاش كارد أو اللي حتعمل فلاش كارد. أول فترة حتلاقوا الموضوع كتير صعب وكتير ممل، يعني خاص أول فترة، خاصة إذا أنت مو متعود إنك تستخدم التطبيق. أنا عن نفسي ما استخدمت البي سي من قبل، ما آلية البي سي ما بعرف، أنا وواف شرح لكم إياها بطريقة كتير ممتازة. أنا بستخدم الأيباد، الأنكي على الأيباد من وقت ما بلش تقريبا من بلوك الجي أي تي. أظن نواف بيستخدم من بلوك الهميون يعني، فهو أقدم مني في انا عن نفسي كثير واجهت صعوبه اول ما استخدمه، وبعد حتى هي الطريقه اللي كنتوا تعملوا كات والفاس هي اللي لقيتها يمكن ما صار لي زمان تعلمتها. فانه انتوا بعدين بتلاقوا الطرق اللي بدكم اياها، فيك تعمل سكرين شوت، فيكم وتقصوا الصوره، فيكم تعملوا بدكم اياه، في تضيفوا من الصور اللي تبعتكم. طبعا الحلاوه مثل ما شرح لكم نواف من قبل، مثلا أنا بدي اعمل اديت هون، بضغط على زر اديت مثل ما قال لكم نواف، مثلا انا بدي الديفينيشن تكون كلمه لون احمر، حتعملوا هيك صارت لون احمر. فانا هيك مثلا بركز انه لما اجي اقرا السؤال ركز انه هو عم يسالني عن الديفينيشن. مثلا اوستيومالايتس مثلا بالعاده بيكون في المحاضره في كتير ديزيزز، فانتوا اذا بدكم تفرقوا بين الديزيز، انا بالعاده اللي بعمله اني بلون كل ديزيز لون. حتى احيانا يعني لما نكون قاعدين عم طالعين من الاختبار، عم راجع مثلا عم راجع اسئله الاختبار، يكون مثلا مختلف انا وحدا في السؤال، بقول له لا يا اخي انا بتذكر الفلاش كارت تبعتي الديزيز كان لونه ازرق. يعني انه حلاوه الانكي انه اذا انتم حتحطوا صور حتتذكروا المحاضره كلياتها، الصوره تبعت المحاضره، صوره السلايد تتذكروها. طبعا لازم تستخدموها يعني بشكل دوري. مثل ما قال نواف مستحيل يعني تقدروا تحفظوا الفلاش كارت تبعتكم قبل يومين. هذا بشرح مره مبسط يعني. طبعا هو نواف شرح لكم كيف تعملوا الفيلم ذاك، نفس الشيء بنفس الطريقه هون. هاي بشرح كتير مبسط. طبعا في كمان ناس شو بتعمل مثلا، مثلا هي اللي في المعلومه اللي انا حطيتها مثلا ديفينيشن اوف ستيمولايتس، انتم يمكن اول مره تاخذوا ستيمولايتس تكون ما بتعرفوا الديفينيشن، بعدين لما تصيروا في الكلينيكال يمكن انتم الستيمولايتس ديفينيشن تبعتها انتم ما يحتاجوا اصلا انكم تراجعوه. فشو بتسوي؟ بتحط سيلكت مثلا، هات كات مثلا، ححط او في الفرونت ححط الصوره هي، مثلا هون بغير السؤال لاي سؤال ثاني، مثلا وات از ذا باثوجينيسيس اوف ستيمولايتس، بروح بعدين مثلا على هي، بعمل لها كات، بعمل لها كبي، بحط لها بيست. هو بصير انا هيك اول فلاش كارد عملت مثل يعني ريفيجن سريعه مره، استمالات شو يعني اكيوت سب اكيوت وكرونيك، بعدين بيجي على السؤال الاساسي اللي انا بدي اياه اللي هو الروت اوف انفكشن او الباثوجينيسيس، او مثلا كونترا انديكيشن لدواء معين، شو التريتمنت، البروجنوسيس، وات ايفر شو بدكم تعملوا. هذا بشكل مبسط يعني كيف بيطلع لكم الفلاش كارد في الايباد. طبعا هي بعد التعديل بتطلع لكم اياها بهالطريقه، لما تضغطوا لتحت تطلع لكم الاجابه. طبعا مثل ما حكيت، بس هون اذا بدكم تعدلوا عليها بتضغطوا على اديت. بس هذا بشكل مبسط. طبعا في كمان شغله الباد في الايباد، لنفرض انه انت عندك مثلا مساله حسابيه عم تدرس الاوسبي، الانكي الاوسبي مره رهيب لانه تقريبا هو بيحاكي طريقه الاختبار الاوسبي. فلنفرض انا مثلا، خلينا بس نعمل اعمل كارد جديده مثلا، نفرض اوكي، نفرض انا عندي هاي الصوره في الاوسبي، فيني اكتب مثلا وات diagnosis مثلا diagnosis findings، بعدين مثلا بحط الإجابة. أوكي س طيب أوكي، هاي مثلا الباد حلاوتها مثلا لو كانت عندكم الاختبار كتابي، أو أصلا اختباراتنا كلها كتابية يعني، بتحطوا مثلا الباد أوكي دايجنوز مثلا وات ايفر، أي شيء بدكم إياه بتقعدوا تكتبوا هون، لما تكون تحت تمسحوا اللي كتبتوه بتحطوا على الزر هذا. الباد هي بتلاقيها موجودة أول ما تحملوا الأنكي بتكون موجودة يعني. فهي حلاوه مثلا الاوسبي، اذا كنت تدرسوا الاوسبي هي فكره انه انتم بتحطوا الصوره، تحطوا مثلا diagnosis findings treatment وات ايفر. حتى كمان كيس سيناريو، فيكم تدرسوا الكيس سيناريو بنفس الطريقه الناس اللي عم تدرس كلينيكال، فيكم تحطوا مثلا الكيس كامل وتحطوا تحته الاسئله diagnosis finding differential diagnosis، تقعدوا تكتبوا تحاكوا طريقه الاختبار، مشان انت كمان فيك تحط تايمر تشوف قديش اخذ معك وقت الاختبار، قديش اخذ معك وقت السؤال. في شغلات انت ضعيف فيها، فانت وقت بتعرف انت تضغط هون تحط again او hard او good او easy whatever انت كيف جاوبت على السؤال. هذا بشكل مبسط يعني كيف تستخدموا الانكي على الايباد. هو اصلا ما في شغلات يعني زياده ممكن انا اعلمكم عليها على الايباد، بس انا معطيكم افكار انه مثلا اوسبي للمحاضرات بشكل عام وللكيس سيناريو كيف ممكن تعملوه. وطبعا انتم مع الوقت كل ما تستعملوه اكثر كل ما رح تستكشفوا انه في طرق، يعني انتم لما تستخدموه كل واحد بصير له طريقته الخاصه. يعني مثلا هذه الطريقه انا بستخدمها، نواف بيستخدم طريقه ثانيه، حتى هو لو كان عم يشتغل على الايباد عنده طريقته الثانيه. مثلا نواف بحب يكتب ديزيز كلياته بفلاش كارد واحده، انا مثلا بحب اقسم الباثوجينيسيس لحال، الكونترا انديكيشن مثلا للدواء لحال، التريتمنت لحال، البروجنوس لحال، والى اخره. فهي الشغلات بتعتمد عليكم يعني، وهذا كان بشكل مبسط.
يعطيك العافية حسن. So now we have finished with the iPads, with how to utilize now Anki in our iPad in real time, and also in AI with Dr. Basim. Now we can finish the remaining of the session just talking very briefly before the settings, very briefly, actually very easily, how we can now use Anki besides university, how we can use it in USMLE. So to start with, this is my profile, my main menu, right, in Windows. So I will go to the left, I will click on File, Switch Profile. I will switch to my menu where it will contain the USMLE deck. Click, Open, bingo. All right. Now, regarding the deck, regarding the USMLE deck, it's this one right here, Anki Overhaul. Now, if you notice, it doesn't have a subdeck. Instead, this deck, it relies on tags. The only subdeck that it has is instruction. If I click on it and I click on browse, I click on this one, and let's say I go to browse, click on this one, I click on preview, it will only show me the instruction for another specific flashcard type exclusive to Anki, the guy who I told you about, and the guy who made a USMLE deck. He shows you the instruction for this specific deck, where this one shows you how to use it. He even has a wiki guide. If I click on it, he has a whole Wikipedia how to use this specific flashcard type, and I will show you what it looks like in this one. So if I go back to the Anki real quick, and let's say I click on this one, all right? For example, this one. This is what it looks like for the Anki. This is what his flashcard looks like. His flashcards are fill in the blanks, all right? His flashcards fill in the blank. You answer, you know it. Click, immediately the answer. And when he shows you the answer, he will show you resources associated with this flashcard. So he might give you pictures like this one, where he took the photo credit from some guy, copyright-free image, all right? This is related to Cliff Pallet. In Cliff Pallet, Cliff Lip, so it was Patui syndrome. If you notice, there's also some things from Ambus. I will show you where we got this from. It's not part of the Anki. This is on its own. But I just want you to know that when you open this deck does not have a subdeck. Instead, it has one subdeck for instructions and how to use the new flashcard type. And this new flashcard type looks like this. It has a question with an answer as a fill in the blank in the color blue. All right? Now, Now what it actually looks like besides this, what it also looks like, where's the preview? There it is. Now, what it also looks like besides these two images, and you can also click on it to zoom in, it also show you resources, others besides this picture. So besides the picture to this flashcard, I have resources from Sketchy. This is a screenshot from the Sketchy, all right? I also have resources from Pixaros, if anybody's going to use Pixaros. So this is a Pixaros. It's pretty much like Sketchy, which shows this image, if anyone is using Pixaros, related to this flashcard, all right? And it also shows us other resources like Physio, for example. So in general, Anki it looks like this. It will give you fill in the blanks with the answer, and it will give you resources, other resources associated to this flashcard, with CliffLift, CliffPalette, Sketchy, Pixaros, and so forth. If I click on mine, currently, let's say, for protozoa, Mycobacterium, for example, scropholonism is the answer. Here it will show me resources from first aid. All right? This is a screenshot from the first aid book. So I just have to click on this option. Just click on it. It will show me the book, all right, associated with this flashcard. It will show me the Sketchy associated with this flashcard. If I want to review it, I can show me the Pixaros associated with this flashcard. And if I click on edit, you know, this is what it looks like بالترتيب on an order. So here it will show me the fill in the blank. Here I can write my notes, for example. Here I can write my lecture notes, usually. Here I can add whatever I want, Pasoma, Boards and Beyond. Not every flashcard will include Pasoma, Boards and Beyond. It's specific, all right? Sometimes for first aid, sometimes for Sketchy. And by the way, these are automatic. These from the deck itself, all right? But if I want to add personally a lecture note, I want to write a personal note, I can write it on extra, or I can write it in lecture note, all right? So if I write it, for example, in extra, Nawaf, and I click on close, this is what it looks like. Here I have a lecture note. Click on it, it will show me the note in blue. And in extra, it will show me automatically. Here, Nawaf. If I go to the next one, for this one, the same thing. Here, this is the note. This is the note, or not the note, this is the extra. This is from the section of extra, where they wrote this with the picture. It will show automatically. But if I want to write a lecture note, like this one, I can write a lecture note, and I click on it, and it will show me. It's optional. All right? So this is a very specific flashcard type. You will not see it in the program. You have to download it from the deck itself, from the Anki USMLE Step 1 deck. It's called Anki Note Type something. All right? So when you're answering the flashcard, it's the same as usual. But I just wanted to show you what it looks like. Now, how do I study for it? All right? How do I begin? Well, I want you to know that this flashcard, when you see it, there will be 35,000 flashcards. All right? New flashcards. So the first thing you must do is click on this deck. You must click on the deck and click on browse. Then what do you do next? You go down, down until you find Anki King. Step 1, Step 2, Step 3. Let's say I'm studying for Step 1. If I'm studying for Step 1, I click on this deck. It will I click on this tag. Sorry, this is all tags. I click on this tag. It will show me sub-tags. So it, like I said, it relies on tags, not on subdecks. So you have a tag with a bunch of sub-tags. One for Boards and Beyond, one from Ambus, one from the book, and so forth. So the first thing I must do is click on the tag itself. Step 1, Control A, and I must suspend all of them, because I will not do all of them at once. I will do the flashcards that are related to the lecture that I am studying from. So the first thing I must do, suspend all of the flashcards, all right? Once you suspend all of the flashcards, which are in yellow, next you need to decide, okay, I'm studying for Step 1. Let's say I begin with pathology. And let's say in pathology, I'm going to use the Pasoma textbook. So I'll go to Pasoma. I click on Pasoma. When I click on Pasoma, it will show me additional tags, additional sub-tags. Here it will show me the lectures related to Pasoma. Pasoma is a textbook from a guy who's teaching you from PowerPoint. So I have lectures or chapters related to the Pasoma textbook. I'm studying pathology. Let's say I'm studying from chapter number 1. So I click on chapter number 1. And in chapter number 1, it will show me here the lecture. Lecture number 1, lecture number 2, very, very specific. Keep in mind, they're very specific. So if I'm studying for USMLE Step 1, I must click on Browse, this deck, and I must suspend everything. Then I go to what I'm studying currently. I'm studying pathology, go to Pasoma. Let's say I'm using Pasoma. I go to Pasoma, I'm studying chapter number 1. I go to chapter number 1. Then once I go to chapter number 1, I then decide, do I want lecture 1, lecture 2, lecture 3, or all of them? Let's say I'm studying all of them. I want to study chapter number 1. So if I'm studying chapter 1, I'm going to unsuspend all of the flashcards related to chapter number 1. The same concept, Control A, unsuspend. So now, I am now going to begin from the 35,000 flashcards. I'm going to begin by studying the flashcards related to chapter number 1, related to Pasoma, related to the pathology that I began in USMLE step 1. Alright? So unsuspend and you will have the flashcards available to you. And you do, like I said, the same as we mentioned before. The question, the answer. You have the resources here if you want to revise related to this flashcard. Alright? The same concept. You do the same over and over and over again. Let's say I finish chapter number 1. Khalas, I finish chapter 1. I now go to chapter number 2. The same concept. This is suspended. Now I decide whether I want to unsuspend or not. I finish reading chapter number 2. I want to do flashcards. Set Control A, unsuspend. The same concept, alright? So in USMLE step 1, first you need to download this deck. You need to suspend every single deck in step 1, alright? Afterwards, you need to decide, alright, I'm starting with pathology. I'll start with pathology. I will learn the concept. I will start with chapter number 1. I will learn the concept first. Once I finish with chapter number 1 through a video or textbook, now I come to Anki and unsuspend the flashcards associated with this chapter from this book that I just now finished. Alright? So this is how you study for USMLE. The same thing. You do it every day. I mentioned this every day. In Anki, he even tells you, the Anking, he tells you, if you don't do it every day, especially USMLE, the flashcards, they pile up. Since you will see thousands of flashcards in Thursday. Why? Because you didn't do these flashcards every day. You must do them every single day. Alright? So this is how you study for USMLE step 1. Easy as peasy. Alright? They all got their own tags. You just decide, where am I going to unsuspend the flashcards from the lectures that I am studying from. Alright? That's pretty much it. Now, one question, the thing that takes a lot of time is, Nawaf, where do I download this deck? To download this deck, I will show you very briefly where to download it, alright? The first thing you must do is type ankiking.com, or let's say no, ankihub.com. When I type on ankihub.com, it will show me this website. This website is made by the Anking, the guy I told you about. He made this account, or he made this website to tell you that in order to download my deck for USMLE, you must make an account in this website. And after you make an account from this website, you will pay $5 a month. Why $5? Because how his flashcards work, how they work is very simple. You see, instead of this guy sending you an update, instead of sending a couple of fixes to his flashcards and telling you on Reddit, okay, download this Anki deck all over again, 5 gigabytes. Instead of downloading this deck over and over and over again by 5 gigabytes, Anking has a solution. Anking told you, instead of me sending you my deck manually, I can update your flashcard automatically. I can do it in real time, automatically without re-downloading all over again. I can update my deck 100% simultaneously. How do I do that? You must go to his website, ankihub.com. You must make an account. After you make an account, which looks like pretty much like this, once you make an account, next you must pay $5. Do I have to pay $5 every month to retain the deck? No. You can only pay $1. You can only pay $5 just once, and the deck will stay with you. But any updates that come from him, it will not be there. So you can just pay $5 just one time, you'll have the deck. But I suggest you that you pay for it monthly, because updates to this deck is automatic. You don't have to re-download his deck ever again. Alright? So make an account. After you make an account, you must pay. And once you pay, it will take you to this website, the same website. It will take you to the decks. Here in AnkiHub.com, he has many decks that you want to study. I can use Anki decks made by other people, not just him. People from dermatology, people from sketchy, people from anatomy, and people from the Anking himself. This one right here, Anking overhaul for step 1 and step 2. I click on it. Once I click on it, of course, I make an account. I have one. Once I'm successfully signed in, I click on it, and next I click on subscribe. Once I click on subscribe, the next step I must do is install something known as an add-on. An add-on, I will show you what it is just now. Add-on not just for this, add-on in general. What are add-ons in general in Anki? But for now, to summarize, you now know how to study for Anki or how to study for USMLE. Next, you need to know where to download it. To download this deck, you must go to his website, ankihub.net. Make an account, pay $5, and it will take you to his website. In this website, you have many decks. You want USMLE? Go to the deck where you want to subscribe to, which is this one. I choose this one. Subscribe to it, and once you subscribe to it, now the final step is installing an add-on. What is an add-on? I will show you just now. It's very easy. So, to show you what is an add-on, if I go to the options in the Anki program, here I have many options. Very briefly, in files, I can export the deck. This is for you to read later on. Edit, this is up to you. You can read it later on. View, I can zoom in, I can full screen, whatever. All right. Help, if you want help from the Anki program, they have a manual guide if you want. This is up to you to read later on. Now, the most important part is tools. Here is tools. Tools, I have many things. I have study deck, for example. This is up to you. I can check the media. Media معناه the pictures you add in your flashcards. You want to check the pictures you added in your flashcards? Easy. The media in your flashcards. The database the same. The manage note types. This is for you to check later on. The most important option is in tools. It's two things. Number 1, add-ons. Number 2, preference. In preference, this is up to you. In preference, you can choose the appearance. In appearance, you can make it light if you want. For example, it can look like this. This is up to you. In review, this is for you to read, especially this option where you want to decide which flashcard, you want to decide at which time the flashcard will appear. Midnight means 12 a.m. So if I want to put 3 hours past midnight, that means my flashcards every day will appear at 3 a.m. This is for you to read later on. Editing, this is for you. Syncing, this is important. Like I told you, you must make an account. I have an account ready here for Anki Web. Not Anki Hub, Anki Web, the program itself. Anki Hub account is a separate thing, all right? So this is for later on. And of course, if you want to make another account, you can just log out, make another one. And backup, basically Anki has a way to back up your flashcards in case they get deleted. Again, you can check at it at your own time, all right? So the preference is important for you to check later on. This preference is the setting for the entire program in general. You want to change the setting for the Anki program in general? This is the option. The setting for the flashcards is this one. I click on this, I click on options. We will come to it at the very end, all right? If I want to change the name of the deck, I can change it, all right? We will come to it in the end. Now let's come to what we were talking about. The final step. What is the final step, Nawaf, in downloading the USMLE Step 1 deck? This is the final step. You must have an add-on. Now, this is what it looks like when I click on it. I have so many add-ons that I disabled so you don't get confused. Now, what is an add-on? ببساطة شديدة, an add-on is an extra feature. This Anki website or this Anki program, it's very basic. It's excellent, but it's very basic. It has some features that it doesn't have some features. It lacks a lot of features. So I want to add some features. What are these extra features that I want to add? They're called add-ons. I am adding something. So when I click on tools and I click on add-ons, I have, and for you guys, you will see it blank. It will not look like this. I have add-ons here, multiple features that I disabled. They are grayed out. So initially, I want to decide for myself, Nawaf, which add-on that I want to add, which feature that I want to include in this Anki. Like I am the developer itself. I am the Anki developer. So the first thing I must do is decide for myself. So if I want to install an add-on, if I want to install a feature to this program, I can click here. I can click here. If I click on get add-ons, it will show me this code. How or where will I get this code from? This is a code that I must enter to install the add-on. Where will I get it from? I will show you just now. Sometimes I can download it from my desktop. So if I have this add-on installed from a website, I can save it on my computer. I find it and I put it here. All right? But now let me show you where you can install an add-on or an extra feature. So I will click on get add-on. This one will show me the code. So if I want to get a code, then I can click, for example, browse add-on. Browse add-ons will show me a list of add-ons made by people in the community, made by other people. So I have a whole bunch of lists. These are the title or the names. These are the ratings people give. All right? These are the dates, and this is the Anki program. So let's say, for example, Nawaf, let's say, for example, I want to install this add-on, this feature. This feature says review heat map. So I click on review heat map, or I can even Google it. It's the same thing. I can even Google it. شكله الجوجل كان عندها مشكلة. أيوة. So I can click on this review heat map. أخي, sorry, we have a bunch of technical difficulties. Okay. ما أدري إيش صاير. خلينا نشوف الجوجل كروم الجديد. أيوة. So for example, شو صاير مع الجوجل كروم؟ بطيء. طيب, but for example, so we don't waste time. For example, let's say I found an add-on. All right? I found an add-on. مشكلة مفترض يشتغل. أيوة كده. Let's say I found an add-on. I found it by the internet, review heat map. It will show me the title and it will show me the description. What is this add-on? What is this feature? He will show me the image and he will show me what it looks like. I go down. These are updates. ما عليك. Go down. When you go down, you'll see something important. To download this add-on, please copy and paste the following code. So this is the code. So I will select this code, right-click and copy. Down are the reviews from other people. All right, so if you want to read it. But this is the most important part, the code. This code will allow me to download this specific add-on. So let me go back. I want to go back. And now I want to click on get add-ons. Paste the code. Click OK. Processing. It will tell me that the deck or the add-on was completed. Review heat map. If you notice, it's not grayed out. It's not disabled. It is enabled. So I can toggle right here. If I toggle it, it's disabled. If I toggle it again, it's enabled. All right? Of course, I can also find each one if I want. For example, if I want to search for a specific add-on, I just click on one of them and I type it on my keyboard. Review add-on. Yep, review heat map. Toggle enabled. There it is. It's enabled again. Now, when I install an add-on, it will tell me that I must restart Anki. This is important. Any add-on that I install, it must be, I must restart the program itself. All right? So now I have installed it, but I need to restart the program. Now, before I restart the program, I will install another add-on, the Anki Hub, the one I was telling you about that had the final step in downloading this deck. So here I will type Anki Hub add-on. Just type it on Google. When I type it on Google, and I type on Anki Hub, it will show me the website, the same thing, the title and the description. Like I said, you must have an account and you must subscribe. After you subscribe, then you can download this deck. Now you can download this add-on. Go down. Here he even shows you the steps very clearly. Go down. Here's the code. Copy the code. Go to Anki. Click on Get Add-ons. Paste the code. Click OK. Processing. Voila. Now we have the Anki Hub add-on. the final step. All right, this is the final step. Now the next part is now to restart the program. So I will press on X, I will exit, and I will click on it again. I will re-enter this program again. All right, now it will load. Now you will notice something very different. Installing a bit of updates. It will not take too much time. Or let me actually click X. All right, full screen. Yalla, full screen. Allah, you notice something very different, right? ما عليكم من الupdate. Actually, yes, some add-ons they show updates automatic when you restart Anki. They tell you add-ons have updates available. You can do it automatically, but I will cancel it. All right. But you notice something very different. What is different, ya jama'ah? This review heat map. This is the add-on that I installed the first time. The second add-on is the Anki Hub. This is the Anki Hub. Now I have this setting. It is now visible. Now when I click on it, it has many options. So the first thing I must do when I have this option is sign in. So you must sign in. Like I told you, the Anki Hub, not the Anki web, not the program, its website, Anki Hub. Make an account, sign in their website, sign in again in the Anki itself. All right? This one right here. Sign in, and once you sign in, it will automatically download this deck. It will automatically download it in your Anki by subscribing. So this is why I told you, make an account, subscribe, make an account, pay $5, install this add-on. This add-on, what it allows you to subscribe to this deck and automatically download it to your Anki. And at the same time, if there's any updates, just click synchronize here as well as on Anki Hub. In Anki Hub, they have a synchronize. Click on synchronize and it will automatically update your deck without having to install a new version. MashaAllah, this is 100% changes everything, right? So here you have options. Here you have options to synchronize. Here you have options to change the deck management if you want. Here you have options to create a new deck if you want. Here you have an option for configuration. For example, do you want to synchronize once you start Anki, and you have the keyboard settings? This is for you to read later on. But the most important part, when you install this add-on, click here, make an account, sign in, synchronize with Anki Hub. Synchronize and make sure you're subscribed to this deck from their website. It will automatically give you this deck. Update it 24/7. And like we mentioned before, how you can how you can study the USMLE using their deck. All right, that is pretty much it for the USMLE. All right, and I just explained to you not just how to study USMLE and how to study and how to download USMLE using the Anki deck. I also explained to you how to install add-ons. Add-ons are very important. They are what allows your Anki to be customizable. See, if I show you tools, add-ons, I have so many add-ons. You choose, ya jama'ah. You find the one that you like. So you can click on get add-ons, click on browse add-ons. Here you'll have a number of lists. If you don't want this website, you can go to anking.com. Go to anking.com. Anking, he has a website. He has another website. Not just this one. He has another one. Let me close this one. He has this one. Where is it? دقيقة. موجود. المهم, he has another website. This website that he has a recommendation of add-ons. There it is. Best Anki add-ons. Just type Anki add-ons. He has a number of add-ons that he recommends. Like this is his own website. This is his main website. This one. Anki Hub, courses, discounts, whatever. All right. So here he has a bunch of add-ons that he recommends. There are some add-ons he tells you that you can get from me by money. And there's some add-ons like, for example, Anki Hub. This is, of course, like we mentioned, $5. And there's some Anki add-ons that are free. These are the favorite ones. And you can click on each one, you get a description with their add-on page. Click on this one, it will give you the add-on page. All right? So he has a list of recommendations for each one. And especially one that I highly recommend. Ambus add-on. You might have seen it in Hassan, in his flashcard. You might have seen it in mine. If I just show it to you very quickly, if I toggle enable Ambus add-on, you will notice something specific. All right, let me exit the Anki. This is something very excellent, this Ambus add-on. This is something from the company Ambus. They made a add-on in cooperation with Anki. They said that we can make an add-on in which you can revise any definition, any information from our Ambus article. And we can also make a question bank, an Ambus question bank according to your flashcards. So this is the code. You can go to Ambus Anki add-on. This is the code. You install it all the same. And if I exit, inshallah I installed it. Yeah, I installed it. Let me just exit. Aywa. Let me enter again. But once you install this add-on, of course he has a video. You can watch it later on. Once you install it, mashallah, this changes everything. Look, this video explains it. If you have a flashcard about multiple myeloma, he'll have a green underline. Just highlight it. Just click on it. He will show you the reference to this definition from the Ambus article. And if you want information, just click on multiple myeloma. It will send you automatically to the Ambus app. The only thing you need to do for this Ambus add-on, make an Anki account, the main program, make an Anki account and make an Ambus account and have the Ambus app installed. And the beauty about this add-on, this works on all devices. So you can do it on your iPad, you can check it on your Windows. This Ambus add-on is excellent. I highly recommend it. This is one specific, all right? You must do it. And you must also do it for the Anki Hub add-on. But every other add-on is optional. It's up to you. Everything here is up to you. So you can search it on the Anki website. You can also search on his YouTube channel. He has a recommendation about add-ons. For example, add-ons, Anki, if you go to his videos, here even people from other videos, they tell you about must-have add-ons. Even the Anki, he has 5 must-have add-ons. He even has videos of how to install multiple add-ons at the same time. Here's a 5-minute video from the Anki, and this is why I tell you guys, any resource, you must check his YouTube video. And this is his YouTube channel, by the way. This one right here. Any question that you have, he has it right here. All the videos, everything is ready. Go to his playlist. Go to his playlist. Everything is prepared. All right. This is your reference. This is your main guy. All right. Now let me show you the Ambus. This is what it looks like. When I download it, this is what the Ambus is here. Now the first thing, like I said, you must have an Ambus account. Sign in by your university. It will look like this. When I click on my flashcards, now all of a sudden I have this green outline, right? I have this green outline. I click on it. It will send me automatically to the article related to the word of my flashcard. I clicked on mycobacteriums. I saw it will show me mycobacteria, like this one, or mycoplasma, all right? Mycoplasma. So this is the beauty of Ambus, all right? Ambus add-on. Also, I want to mention, here's the Ambus QBank. Again, the details, you can read it later on, all right? So this is the beauty of add-ons. You can add so many excellent features. The only bad thing about add-ons, is that all of them only work on PC. So they only work on Mac, on Windows, all right? They will not work on iPad or Android, with the exception of Ambus. The Ambus add-on works on all devices because this relies on your account, Ambus account. But the other, they rely on your computer. That's the only bad thing, but otherwise, they are excellent. They're very good. And look at the Ambus. Here's the Ambus option. I click on it, I log in, I click on settings, and you can do whatever you want with the settings. Just make sure you click on enable mobile support. If you click on enable mobile support, that means this add-on will work on all devices, all right? That's pretty much it. For the add-ons, as well as how to install USMLE Step 1 deck, as well as how to study and how to download it, yani everything related to USMLE overall in regards to Anki, all right? That is pretty much it. Now, the final thing, one last thing before we finish the setting in 5 minutes, is the setting. We want to finish this session with the settings. So regarding the settings يا جماعة, for example, if one of you ever دقيقة dial كثير لا يوزر. But just in 5 minutes, just one more thing. لو dial كثير بس قول لي حسن. طيب. Just one more thing about the settings. When I review with you the settings, I will just explain it to you in 5 minutes. All right. Now, for some of you, if one of you want to change the settings, all right, you want to change the settings to this flashcard. I'm talking about the options. For example, I want to change the number of days, the number of minutes. How can I change it, Nawaf? Again, like I said, I recommend that for the details, you go to Anki. Anki is your man. That's your YouTube channel. I will explain to you in details. Also for Reddit, ببساطة شديدة, I'd go to medical school Anki Reddit, and I'll go to this Reddit. I will not explain what Reddit is, but this is a community where people have questions, where it's answers, right? For example, what is my strategy for starting Anki? You can click on it and you will have the answers, all right? So these are resources that can explain to you the settings for the Anki. So I will not explain to you in full details. These can explain it to you. And you can also use Reddit, especially when you're Googling. You can type here, how to use the best settings, all right? I type like this, medical school Anki, how to use the best settings. I put a question with Reddit, and Google will show me the relevant, let's say the relevant posts, or the relevant Reddit posts, like this one. So I don't have to necessarily click on their community and scroll down. I can just search for it on Google. And that's pretty much it. طيب. Now the final thing is for the settings. If you always want to check for the settings, you can always check on it on this option. Any option will have this option right here on the do card. Click on it, options, and these are the settings. Now for this one in the new cards, this one very simply, you can check it on the Anki video, but just always make sure you click 999. This shows you the number of cards you want to see in one day. This one shows you the maximum of review cards you want to see in one day. All right. Well, the remaining steps I don't want to explain to you in detail. This one can be better explained with Anki, where you can check his YouTube channel, where I can type the Anki settings, and here he will show me in better detail. This one, tamam. So these are very important. Now we pretty much finished with the settings. I just wanted to mention very briefly the settings, 9999, these two briefly, but the other ones you can check it in the video later on. That's pretty much it for the settings. That's pretty much for me regarding the Anki. Inshallah, it took a bit too long with the session, but inshallah by this session you were encouraged to download Anki, to use Anki, and of course, like I said, the two resources are your YouTube channel from the Anki himself, as well as Reddit. All right. Of course, this video is recorded. Inshallah, with editing, it can also be sent to everybody as well. What I need to mention is the settings. طيب, بالنسبة settings, regarding the settings, I will not go more than 2 minutes, because really the details for settings, they take time. And when I refer to the settings, I'm not referring to the settings for this one when you go to tools and preference. These are the settings for the Anki program. I'm referring to the settings for the flashcard, your subdeck. So for the MIT 3, I'm going to this one. I click on this wheel, I click on options, and it will show me the settings for my flashcards for this subdeck. The only thing I want to mention in this one is 3 things, because the remaining parts can be better explained through YouTube channels, all right? So they'll be better explained through YouTube channel from the Anki. So the Anki, if I Google search Anki settings, he will show me the recommended settings. He will show me the best Anki settings. So you can watch them from his YouTube channel. He will explain to you in better detail than I'll ever do, because he has his own settings, all right? You can also search through Reddit. So on Reddit, for example, in medical school Anki Reddit, I can click on Reddit and I can browse through the community, the questions that they have, click on it, and it will show me the answers, all right? But sometimes you don't want to scroll down, right? You don't want to click on the Reddit and scroll down, down, and down till you find your answer. So what do? You do medical school Anki Reddit, all right? You put your question. Let's say I want the best settings. Medical school, Anki Reddit. Google will show me the relevant posts, the relevant questions from their Anki Reddit, like these. I click on this one, it will show me this person's question, and I look at the answer. These are the answers, these right here. And I see whether they benefit me or not. So I could have questions already answered by the community. Or I could go to the YouTube channel of the Anking through his playlist, and he will answer whatever question that I want. All right? Now, the settings, let's go back to the settings. The settings, the only three things I will mention. Number one, whenever you look at the number of flashcards that you have, normally they will look like this. All right? Normally, when you make your flashcards for the first time, they will look like this, 20. You made let's say you made 100 flashcards. What happened? Nothing got deleted. You just need to change the settings. So you can click on options. You go here, the number of new cards you'll see in one day, put 999. The number of review cards, 999. That doesn't mean you'll see 9,000 cards. You're just putting unlimited number of cards, all right? So that means all the cards that you did, you'll see it in this deck in one day, all right? And the remaining options, you can continue on with the YouTube channel. I just want you to know these two options. These two options are important because if you want to see your flashcards that you made, especially 100 of them, you can see 20, 50, whatever you want to see in one day, all right? And once you're finished, click save, or to be more assuring, click on the arrow, click save to all subjects. So these settings can be applied on everything. Check this out. Now it shows me all the flashcards for all of the decks, all right? Instead of 20, 20, 20, all right? And I can do each one individually. It's fine. I can do each one individually. Click save. Instead of save with this arrow, save to all subjects, all right? That's pretty much it for the settings. Anything else can be answered to the YouTube channel. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, the Anki is a very beautiful program. It's a very beautiful program, especially with the add-ons. If I just want to show you the add-ons, especially for Ambus, like we mentioned before, like the Anki Hub that we mentioned before, just click exit. Like I told you guys, Anki is a very beautiful program. Just make sure before, at the very least, if you want to remember one important point, before you do anything, once you install the program, make an Anki account. I'm talking about the program itself, not the Anki Hub, not Ambus, Anki program itself. So you can synchronize, and that regardless of what you do, this program, whatever flashcards that you do in this one, it can be applied on your iPad. Synchronize, apply on your iPad. The same account, the same program. You can apply it on your iPhone. So me in general, I do my cards on my iPad. But when I actually doing my flashcards, or when let me revise. When I am making my flashcards, I do it on my iPad. When I am doing the flashcards, I'm doing it on my phone. Anywhere that I want. It's portable. So even if I'm busy, I'm in the bathroom, I'm in the house doing cooking, I can just check my iPad. With my iPad or with my iPhone, do the Anki flashcards automatic. That's the beauty about Anki. It's portable. You can do whatever you want. So that's pretty much it for me. That's pretty much all that we've mentioned before.